Well, it's been a while since I did one of these. As you know, I always do these WZ discussions with Nico, but however, things have changed. But this particular subject has now caught my attention a lot recently. We're talking about Andrade, who we know him as in La Sombra back in Mexico. Others know him as the fiance of Charlotte Flair, by many things. But recent news has come around about his departure, and of course, an interview that he made post WWE with Lucha Libre Online, discussing about his reasonings of leaving and how much difficult. And there were many things that took place that he talked about. So let's do this right now. So let's welcome back DWZ Discussions. Hey everybody, welcome to DWZ Discussions. I am your host, J-Rod here. Now, as you know, I don't have Nico with me. It's been almost a year or a year and a half since I did one of these things before. So, the subject that I've been following that I'm going to discuss is about a former WWE talent. I'm talking about Andrade, and those who know him prior before that name, La Sombra. Now, you heard about what happened to him, what's been going on for recent weeks. Now, let's start how this whole thing began. Now, I'm not starting from the career, but what started this whole thing. As you know, he got injured in October of 2020. But recently he was medically cleared. We haven't seen him for a while. But however, a couple weeks ago, he requested for his release from the company. Days later, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE denied his request to be released. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, during the day of WWE Fastlanes, it was revealed and announced that Andrade was released from WWE. Now that was very unusual, but however, news quickly spread that he has the no 90-day compete clause. Now, for those who don't know, that means they're not allowed to talk or have negotiations with any promotion for 90 days after they're being released. Apparently, Andrade did not have that. Now, you ask yourself the question, we've seen in the past wrestlers who were released, they have that. Yes, it's true. If you recall what happened on April 15th of 2020, certain wrestlers received a 30-day non-compete clause and others 90, which made no sense whatsoever. But Andrade was one who did not have it. Now, I know for some fans who were happy he was released, happy that he didn't have it, it's the sign of indication that he will be working with any promotion. Now, I know some have been talking about, oh, he's going to go to AEW, which, I mean, look, I wouldn't mind that. But the real question remains is, what really happened? What made him his decision? I mean, look, the guy is 31 years old. He's in great shape. He's very athletic. He's in his prime. I mean, what really happened? There's been talk about how he was not being utilized, all this and that, and it would make a whole lot of sense. But apparently recently it just came out, Andrade made a podcast interview for Lucha Libre Online with Hugo Savunovich, who is a Spanish announcer out of in Mexico. Well, I think he worked with AAA. Yeah. So anyway, so he did an interview, but there was Pro Wrestling Network posted out the notes of what really was going on. So bear with me about what says here. Wasn't sure about leaving WWE until last month. Says that everyone was kind to him, but no one speaks out. Everyone vents, but no one speaks up and says anything. Now, keep in mind, a lot of wrestlers, we have heard the story. They've been frustrated due to not being utilized. What's their positions within the company? Andrade was like noticing no one is speaking up, but it appears that it was one of those guys that did. Now, he goes on saying that his contract with WWE was $30 million, and that's like even more from when he was called up from the NXT. WWE told Angel Garza to cut his hair for a push, but the push never came. He supported Garza in the same way Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio supported him. He also supported Humberto, starting that he was charisma and talent, but they don't use him. You see, this is something we also discussed. There have been wrestlers who have been pushed, but they never got the opportunity. We've been seeing that already recently. Like Humberto, we see he was getting a good push, but all of a sudden, all of this, and Andrade can relate to that. When he came back in February, people like Randy Orton, Sheamus, McIntyre, and Cesaro questioned him on why he wasn't being used, which made him to start questioning that something was wrong. Now, it's a very compelling argument because we have seen. Now, if these guys like working with Andrade, then it wouldn't make sense why he wasn't being used. Now, there was really a lot of things that Andrade explained that people thought it was because of his way of speaking, because he doesn't speak perfect English, but he can speak it more than enough to try to communicate with people, and that wasn't the case that was happening. He said that he didn't think his English was the issue because Asuka was getting pushed. It makes perfect sense. I mean, Asuka doesn't speak a lot of English, you know. He pitched ideas to the creative before he came back. He also mentioned Charlotte pitched ideas to creative as during the Lacey and Flair story. It would make sense. This thing was already confirmed by Charlotte. You know, she did pitch ideas, but it never happened. You know, they wanted to do that whole thing where the real life couple, you know, facing off against his future father-in-law and the supposed woman that Flair has been having an affair with, you know, that sort of thing. While he was out on recovery from eye surgery, he was never called back early. Even after his heel date, while Charlotte was called almost every day after his surgery to come back early, which she refused until she was healthy. Now, this is something Andrade has spoken. Charlotte was not trying to stay with Andrade because he was still on recovery. She didn't feel confident enough because she was still trying to recover from her own injuries. So WWE, he even explained this to Hugo. They called her time and time again. To me, I thought that was kind of strange that they were calling her because they want her back. I mean, to me, I've been injured before, but when you have a doctor telling you you're not ready, apparently according to Andrade, what he told to Hugo, that their medical doctors, WWE are saying, their WWE doctors were saying she's medically clear. But however, this is the same kind of story I heard before with Daniel Bryan. If you recall, Daniel Bryan, the doctors within WWE said to Daniel Bryan he wasn't medically clear. But however, the doctors outside of WWE said that he was medically cleared, that he was 100%. This is the kind of crap that we have been hearing. I mean, look, WWE doctors are a bunch of morons, in my opinion. If you saying they are medically cleared, I like to know exactly. If this is something that bothered Andrade, it would make a lot of sense to fans out there. Because here's the problem. We always have a second opinion. Now, this is let me make you guys an example from this, from what you guys. This is not an example. If you guys know this, I have a cat. When we were told back in 2019 that she was diagnosed with diabetes, we refused to believe it. They told us about it. We didn't buy it. So I suggested to my family that it was best that we take her to another vet for another second opinion to find out if it's true. It verified it did. But unlike WWE doctors, To me, I've been hearing the same old story. It would make more sense on that subject matter. Now, what else he was saying? He questions why guys like Aleister Black and Ricochet are only on main event. Because if you guys don't know this, these wrestlers, Aleister Black and Ricochet, are two phenomenal wrestlers. I know that Andrade and Aleister did a ride-along episode together, and they're on the main event show, which is not even aired. You have to see that on the WWE Network. To me, that is strange too, to see them there. He goes on saying he spoke highly of Drew McIntyre, mentioned that the producer spoke to during their account need to look like a monster. Drew told Anna that he was to be used more like that. After Rand talked about why he's not being used, that's when Anna decided to leave. So he already was thinking about it for a while. War on him sit to the catering every week, always answering just eating in catering when asked what he did at TV. He even opted out. He says here he opted out of all the Saudi trips after Crown Jewel plane incident. If you guys recall, he didn't believe that the made-up story told him that he refused to go to the meetings about the event. He was frustrated that he was stuck in Saudi when his mother passed. I mean, this is information I did not know. I mean, I like to know what the hell kind of crap is this? He didn't even say goodbye to his mom. To me, that's messed up. But it makes sense. If you guys recall the Saudi incident where majority of the wrestlers in WWE were stuck in Saudi Arabia, that kind of was one of those things. He didn't feel compelled to go because he didn't like the idea. This is one of those things he even talked about. Now, what else he talked about? He says that Kalisto speak good English and questioned him why he didn't use. He thanked Carl Lance for getting him and Charlotte together. He thanked Paul Heyman for his time in Raw, getting him in the U.S. title run. He says none of his matches again were scripted. Now, this is the very interesting news that just recently came out. WWE doctors falsely claimed that Charlotte Flair was pregnant, and even after the test came negative times at home, after they were able to prove she wasn't, WWE never apologized, and the doctor stuck to his belief. Charlotte mentions that it happened to other talent. Now, this was also information that came out. There were rumors circulating that the reason Charlotte Flair was pulled because the WWE doctor says they believe that her HCG levels were high, that she was pregnant, and they tried the pregnancy test. This is kind of ridiculous. To me, I like to know, who the hell are these WWE doctors? Why they're making these claims? You know, if I was these talents who used to hear this crap from them, I would suggest put an investigation on them to find out who the hell they are. He also said he knows why Charlotte was taken off the WrestleMania posters, but doesn't want to get her in trouble. I mean, that's very honorable because you know you don't want to burn some bridges between Charlotte and the company. That is something that has been heard. He even talked about how Charlotte was getting too much heat in the background because there were wrestlers who were being jealous because of her. We all know Charlotte is the daughter of the Nature Boy and two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair. And it's always about jealousy, you know, but Charlotte doesn't use that like as a way to go around. That is something has been revealed. He did mention about New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA with Rush as places he would like to go and start a rivalry with LA Park. He plans to open up a pro wrestling tea store where the benefits will go out to his family. Now, this is really interesting to find out about. Andrade didn't know what was going on. Apparently, a lot of wrestlers were saying why he was being used. It did raise his questions. It's like, why? I mean, we need to ask ourselves, why did the creative team didn't have anything for him? Now, if it was me, I would plan something for him before he comes back. That's why, like I said, the dude is on his prime. But it didn't happen that way. They just Left them right there. Kind of pathetic, in my opinion. But the way I see it is this. What was it that they didn't like about Andrade? You know, sometimes we see this many times with Vince. There's certain wrestlers he likes, certain wrestlers that he doesn't like, some wrestlers that he doesn't believe that will be at the top. Who knows what the real question is? But I think right now Andrade is possibly is very happy that he's out. But however, there is the concern that how this is going to affect his relationship with Charlotte. Keep in mind, Charlotte is still with WWE. But if you guys recall not too long ago with Andrade and Charlotte, they did file some trademark names. Now, Andrade filed for La Sombra and El Idolo. As for Charlotte, she filed for Ashley Flair and, of course, Queen of the Ring. Now, we know they can use these names once they leave WWE. But later, it did reveal about Andrade that he is allowed to use the name Andrade, but not Cien Almas, which was the original name that he used when he first arrived in NXT. And he was known as Andrade Cien Almas. but that's pretty much it. As I mentioned before on the episode that it just came out, that there's a tease that he may be on his way to Ring of Honor. The possibilities is he could reunite with Rush. Now, he could go with AAA, as much as we want to believe. He was originally from CMLL, but I wouldn't know if they would accept him back. Because if you guys know this, he is an original member of Los Ingorpenables. So, that's one of the reasons I put out this question. Andrade was revealing things that happened. Like, why wasn't he utilized? Like, what happened? Why did all of this? There's like a lot of questions. And not to mention the messed up thing about the WWE doctor saying that they were forcing Charlotte Flair to return while she's not fully recovered from her injuries. That is another question. I mean, why would they do that? And then, of course, the whole thing with the pregnancy. That's another thing that goes up. Like, why they're making these false claims. And they never even apologized to them, making the assumption. And it turned out that they weren't the only ones that been through this before. I mean, what the hell? But also, we don't know the extent of why Charlotte was really removed from WrestleMania. Others saying because of the pregnancy test. I don't know, but Andrade said he did not want to get Charlotte into trouble, because you got to keep in mind Charlotte does have a pull in some way since she's the daughter of Ric Flair, which leads to the jealousy part of other women who are sick and tired of her. I know I've heard from fans that they put on social media that saying they're sick and tired of her, you know. But if Charlotte Flair does decide to leave, then that's okay. I mean, at least she'll be with Andrade. What else we could know? But all we can do right now is, as fans, support Andrade wherever he goes. If it's gonna be with Ring of Honor, I'm cool with that. If it's with AEW, I'm cool with that. Or back to Mexico with either AAA or Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, we do know he's still in good shape. He can still wrestle. But the real question is, where does he go from here? You know, that's the obvious question about him. Now, some of you who are fans of Andrade, hope you guys just show your support no matter what. I know some WWE fans who supported Andrade are now going, F you, WWE. I mean, they deserved it. You wasted a good wrestler, in my opinion. The dude played a good heel. He is athletic. He's very good. And he was living his dream. But how dare you, WWE, decided not to utilize them? I don't know what your problem is with him or why you didn't do it. But keep in mind, there's a reason some people are starting to question your credibility. So you keep an eye on that. And for all you fans out there, if there's wrestlers that you feel that they don't support WWE the way they do, give the wrestlers their support. They the ones who deserve it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this discussion with me. So, whatever Andrade does, let's give him our full support. So for now, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned for more things coming up. And I'll see you guys soon on the next episode So I'll see you guys later. So, adieu, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang!